Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Guru Room Show. And for the Guru Room Show today, I got a whole cast of amazing people, and it's a movie called the In-Law Gang, and I'm going to be talking to the writer, director, and some of the cast of the film. So it's going to be a fun time, and we're going to have a whole bunch of people on. We're going to talk about the film and have a good old time. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Guru Room. And my interview with the In-Law Gang film will be coming up very soon. This is my Guru Room, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. So stay tuned. Okay, welcome to Guru, and thank you so much for coming on the show and being a guest today.
Thank you, Rocco. Thank you for your time. I'm honored to be here.
Definitely, yes. So, wanted to start right off the bat. Like you're in a new film, and is the film out now, or is it coming out?
The film's out. The film's out. The film's doing pretty well. We're gonna go. I think we drop in the theaters. We drop in selected theaters, selected cities, and then we'll go to VOD sometime in August. And then I think in November, I'm pretty sure we premiere on Stars. So that's a pretty big deal for us.
That is a pretty big deal. Stars is great. One of the shows I love on Stars is that wrestling show, Heels.
Absolutely.
And like I'm a big wrestling fan besides a big horror fan, and so like when I watch a film about, I mean, it's a series about wrestling, I'm sold.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like you're one of the stars of the film, and can you tell me a little bit about how you got to be part of? Oh, someone else just came in. I don't know who it is yet.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think that so for me, it was a matter of the director, Jessie Smith. We have a very good relationship. We've collaborated on different projects before. The writer creator, Jessie Jalee, was connected with him, and the producer, Crystal T. Williams, was connected with Jessie as well. So we all kind of got together via phone calls, whether just talking about the script. We were all introduced to each other. We shot it like at a time like after COVID, so we were all trying to figure it out. So it was very interesting having to deal with the COVID officer and all this kind of stuff. But we made everything work. And to be honest with you, I feel like this was to me was like a labor of love, because it was like all these people who like knew each other. Mm-hmm. We got together and came together to share an experience that's, I think it's semi-autobiographical from the creator. So it's elements of her real life that she put in there. So nice. We came together, we did it. It was fun. It was a fun project. That's the difference, right? It wasn't like we were just like, oh, I'm going to go and collect a paycheck. It was a fun project. Yeah, it was a fun project. And then like all these great things are happening now. Now it's getting selected, run in the theater, VOD, premium cable later on in the year. So this was a lot of fun.
Wow. Jessie, welcome to Gru. And I want to ask you, like, you're the one who wrote the film. So what inspired you to want to write it, and you also star in it as well?
Basically, it was based upon my life. So it's loosely based upon my life. Let me correct that, because I didn't actually tie anybody up in the basement. But it was based upon life experiences, and I just wanted to share it. So people could just, we could laugh at the pain. Sometimes people become bitter in certain situations, but for me, I'm able to laugh at it, overcome it, and move on to a different lifestyle, like a writer, So even though it was very painful, and even though these things did happen, it also sends a message to people, never give up on love, never become, wear a chip on your shoulder, just embrace life, and move on.
Definitely, yes. And I also want to ask you, like, for someone who wrote the film, like, does it ever clash like with you being on screen acting? Like, do you ever like look at the script and say, oh, I shouldn't have wrote that, I'm going to change that? And
one solid, I would say solid thing about the whole process is that the actors that I had surrounding me, they kept me grounded.
Okay.
So in my mind, I really wasn't thinking about what I actually wrote, because it was like really, really close to what I had lived in certain aspects. But with Alfred and Nashawn being my partners, they really kept me solid in the whole situation. You know, they were veterans, and this was my first lead role. So,
Oh wow.
you know, Alfred was like, Jessie, I got you. You know, they they really, it was really comforting to know that you can work with actors that will, that, just really just hold you down in the midst of everything. So.
Wow. Okay. And this is for both of you and Alfred. Like, what did you like most about doing the filming it?
I'll let Jessie go first because I already know what mine is.
Let's see, what did I like most? The basement. Alfred and I, we had fun. Like it was it was insane. It was insane. Like we were thinking of all kind of things to do, and even outside of the script, because we did like kind of like go a little bit off script a little bit. But it was just so cool. And then, you got Alfred, who has a background in martial arts, and he was like,
Oh,
oh,
really?
I'm about to put this kick in there. Yeah. And so it was like it was a great selling point as well, because if you look at the kick in that basement, it was just so precision, right? And so we had fun, like so much fun in that basement scene. And then just dressing up, and I was bouncing off of his energy, and I loved being Wonder Woman. I was Cleopatra, and then he became King of Patra at one point. So we just had so much fun in that basement. So that was my favorite part. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to piggyback too. What was so great about the film for me? Can you guys hear me, or am I like frozen?
No, you're good. You're good.
I think for me, like Jessie talked about, was the basement. The greatest thing about this was the collaborative effort that we all had. Because this is loosely based on Jessie's life, and she's the writer, the creator. Sometimes when you get into that space with someone, they don't want you to veer off at all. They're like, hey, do it like it's written, but she was very adamant about let's making it work. It had to flow. There were elements that she just talked about that we were able to stick in there. At one point, we were like, well, how do we get from here to this space to that space? And I was like, okay, what if John's brother gets loose and there's a fight, and then we can add this martial arts aspect to a film that has nothing to do with martial arts. And you're like, because it's gonna throw people like, what? he can do all of that. So we did that. We dressed up in costumes. Nice. I remember when we first showed some people and they saw it, everyone was like so pleasantly. It was like a breath of fresh air because it came out of nowhere. It was like this cosplay type situation.
Yeah.
During basically like a mock kidnapping. So it's very interesting. Very interesting.
So, I have to ask you this, since I know now that you do martial arts, like who's the greatest martial artist of all time?
Bruce Lee, without question. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of questions floating around about different fights with like Won Jack Man and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like this, when you talk about the greatest in anything, right? Record sales, albums, and then you talk about actors. It's really subjective art, right? Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: what's not subjective is impact. The impact people have on culture, their ability to change culture, their ability to cross cultures, ethnicities, racial barriers, ideologies. So when you talk about someone like that, you're not just talking about pound for pound just as a martial artist, which I believe he was as well, but you're just talking about the impact on cinema. Bruce Lee was the first martial arts superstar. I'm not talking about global, and that obviously as time goes on, it's just going to get bigger. So that's what I believe.
All right. Okay. As you can see, I got a poster of Bruce Lee's son, the Crow, Brandon Lee. Yeah. And like, what scene did you both love filming most? Was it the scene you just mentioned?
Yeah. For me, it was the basement. Just because I didn't know if
Definitely the basement.
I don't know if we were gonna fail or not. I don't know if Jessie feels this way. We took a big risk with that scene.
We did. We did.
Yeah.
And we did. We took a big risk, and I was like, oh boy, how is this gonna go? But everybody, they were just so like they said, let's just go for it. Let's do it. La Rivers, I kicked her, I tackled her, I kicked her. Lala, I was actually slapping her for real. That was not a stunt double. She was actually getting slapped, and it was hard. I mean, she said, listen, she said, hit me. I said, are you serious? She said, yes, hit me. So I was slapping her, and
it's true.
Those were not sound effects. Those were the real slaps.
So I have to ask is when you're doing those scenes and slapping, like if you're having a bad day, does it feel good to get that energy out?
Oh, definitely. It definitely feels good to get that type of energy out. And oh my goodness, it was a relief for me because the movie was so close to my life experiences. All of the other scenes were pretty heavy. Mm-hmm. And it was sometimes where, Nation will have to say, Jessie, okay, you can do this. I know you're reliving your pain, but you can do this. But when I got in the basement with Alfred, it was like, oh yes, I can release now. I can let go, and so Alfred was so Damien's character, he was the fun side of me. He was the one that helped me really, really live life, and John Sr., which was played by Nation, his character was more of the draining character. And it was like, oh boy, I got to be sad and crying and stuff like that. So if you look at the scenes with Dame, Cassie, and Damien, it's just so upbeat. It's just so alive, And so that basement scene, even though we were afraid that it wasn't, we were taking risks, I was also confident that we can pull it off as well, So, I was a little risk adverse at first, but, working with actors like Alfred, it's just easier. It just becomes definitely easier. So, yeah.
And where did you wind up filming at? Like, where was did you film different areas, different locations, or was it all like one area?
So we had several locations. We had different homes as well. And as a matter of fact, that basement that we filmed in was actually my basement.
Okay.
My real life basement. Yeah. Yeah, that was my basement. We filmed at the mall. We filmed at a restaurant, a golf course. Oh gosh, we had a lot of locations.
Yeah. We were on location.
A doctor's office type thing.
We were on location a lot.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, it's a lot of different spots.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of different spots.
I don't get an opportunity to do that, but Jessie did a great job because we shot in Atlanta, so we were, everyone was kind of familiar with the area. Jessie did a great job of securing the locations, because oftentimes when we talk about indie films, production value sometimes goes down because you're like, as an audience member, you're like, that's not their house. That's the house of the person they was just in. So you start to get distracted at that point, right? Because now you're starting to look at the technical aspect of the film as opposed to enjoying the film. But we had great locations. We were everywhere. We were in the mall. We were in the mall in Atlanta for God's sake.
That's great. Yeah, that's crazy. And then we were at a real hotel. A real hotel. It wasn't a built set or anything like that. We actually secured a hotel, and they were so nice, and they were like, hey, you have free range, do what you need to do. So we had fun.
Nice. Yeah. And was there any funny or cool stories from the set for you both?
I think for me, Yeah, well, I wouldn't say funny or fun. I think for me, there was a scene of I try not to give too much of the film, but there's a scene with me having to deal with law enforcement, and I had never really been handcuffed before, none of that. So this was a situation where yeah, it was a first time. My first time was on a movie set. Yeah, my first time on a movie set. You know, getting in the squad car and all that. It was my first time.
Okay.
Nothing to be proud of, though.
That was his first time and his only time, and
I hope so.
yeah. Yeah, I had a lot. The golf course was pretty funny to me. We had some blooper moments with
Okay.
our caddy, so that was pretty funny. Yeah, it was just throughout. We were just doing the crew that we had were family, so it was like throughout we were doing like little blooper things, you know. So, you know, stuff behind a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we did like cut out. We could probably show that later on down the line, but
Nice.
it was
Nice.
it was a lot of blooper moments. Yeah.
I do remember one
Stabbing.
thing though. I do remember one thing. We
Okay.
go back to the basement again. In the basement, director called cut J. Chester Smith, and then we actually broke out into a song Before I Let Go by Frankie Beverly and Maze. And the whole cast was singing it.
Yeah.
And I think we recorded it too.
We did. We recorded it. I have a video of that. Yeah, we recorded it.
And everybody's singing.
Yeah.
Oh, you should definitely put that in the, you know, the film, like after the film is over and you have all the little
I think it's actually it's in there.
It's in there? Oh, wow. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
It's in there.
That's dope.
It's in there. Yeah. It was
awesome.
Another scene where, and I don't want to give the movie away as well. It was another scene where I was actually barbecuing his clothes. And I don't want to tell too much of the movie. And the lighter would not work to save our life. So every time I would light it, the wind would blow it out.
Blow it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty hilarious.
Oh my God, that's funny. I could picture someone walking by. Oh, what do you got on the grill today? Just clothes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, a woman scorned, man.
Clothes. Just barbecuing his clothes. That's it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with the film, but I'm going to ask like a couple questions non-film related. Like, what kind of songs do you both like? Like, what's on your playlist?
Oh, I can go first. That's easy for me. It's like as far as hip hop is concerned, I still only listen to Tupac. That's it.
Okay.
But outside, that's like my medicine. I call that soul music. But as far as like outside of that, like I listen to a lot of old school R&B and stuff before my time. So everybody from Sam Cooke to Marvin Gaye. I love Bob Marley as well. So I'm a really like up person. So I try to calm myself down through music.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So I primarily listen to like Candace Springs. Not sure if you heard of her. I Put a Spell on You, that type of music.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I listen to like John Coltrane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a jazz person. Yeah. I also listen to it's a group called Atlantic Star. I like that type of music.
Okay.
Back in the days.
Yeah.
Computer Love. I'm that type of girl, you know.
Roger Troutman and Zap.
I love that type of thing. Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's right. People
Nope.
And if you were both going to do a karaoke song, what do you think you would choose as your song?
I definitely know this. Frank Sinatra, My Way.
Okay.
That's my song.
I can do
that's
that.
That's
I
my
probably
life
would
soundtrack.
do. Yeah. I could see that. I probably would do if Alfred and I had to do a duet together karaoke, I would do Marvin Gaye and Tammy.
Tammy
Ain't no
Terrell.
mountain high.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes,
Right.
great song.
Yeah.
Great
You go,
song.
you getting the bangers, Jesse.
Listen, my playlist is ridiculous. I play the drums, and I've been playing since I was 8 years old. So I just like a wide range of music. So I'm like that old school person because I get a lot of inspiration because they use more musical instruments, back in the days, and now it's more like I don't understand half of the music. Sometimes, all this and all. I don't understand that. So I'm old school. I'm an old school person.
Okay. Now, is there any artist or band like you would love to see live that you haven't saw?
Yeah, for me, so dead or alive, dead or alive?
I'll go yes, alive.
Alive. So obviously for me, I don't like to go to concerts just because to me there's too many intangibles with the people going on, especially after COVID. But New Edition, I want to go to a New Edition concert just because all 6 are together now, and I think it will be. And I hope they get a residency in Las Vegas. I hope that happens. And I think I personally believe that's the best R&B group ever, just because. People will argue with me and say the Jackson 5, and I would say you can't say that because it's only one Michael Jackson. But if you look at Velvet DeVoe, Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill, this is a super group. It's a super group. So to me, I would love to see New Edition live in concert. That's my group.
Okay.
For me, it would be Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Oh
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Even though I heard they kind of split up recently, I would want to see them. And if I could resurrect anybody, it would be the Silvers. You remember the Silvers? Yeah. Yes. I would resurrect them if I could, and just go to one of their concerts because they had some really banging songs that people really don't give them enough credit for.
I agree.
Definitely. And I'm a big horror fan, as you can see, and I always ask my guests this: are there any horror films that you both like to watch?
Listen, I'm a big horror. I tell you before I'm working on something like that. I'm a big horror fan. I love horror. Listen, Fright Night is my film.
Yes, that is so good.
Fright Night's my film. I love. What genre horror are we talking about? We talking about slasher films, and we talk about like supernatural films. Cause I can go different ones.
All right, okay. Let's do slashers.
I do like Nightmare on Elm Street. I think Freddy Krueger is such a interesting character. I think Robert Englund, he just retired though, right?
He did. Yeah, he said he's no longer going to be playing Freddy.
Oh man, I feel to me. It's like Life Jennings says in his song, Christopher Reeves is always going to be Superman to him.
Oh, yeah.
And for me too. But Robert Englund is always going to be Freddy to me. So I don't know if I'm going to continue to they'd have to do something special because
I know
he's Freddy to me.
I know they're actually searching for they're actually searching for a new actor to play Freddy.
I think that's difficult. And listen, I'm all for actors having opportunity. Obviously, I'm an actor, right?
Well, yeah.
But I think, they have to make a different story. I don't think you see how they did like Child of Chucky. It has to be a continuation. I don't think you say this is Freddy Krueger because at that point it'll kind of make people get a little disillusioned.
Okay. And what about you, Jessie? Do you have like horror film that you like watching?
So I'm a chicken. I am very afraid. Okay. If I watch Freddy Krueger, somebody's going to sleep in the bed with me at night and I'm keeping on all the lights, But I did write a horror that I am going to film.
Sweet.
Later on this year, if the strike, wherever happens with that situation, get waivers or whatever. But yeah, I did write a horror and it's a very interesting horror. It's about a perfect man. There's no such thing as a perfect man, but I really turned it into I hear Nation coming on. There's no such thing as a perfect man, so I kind of turned it into like a horror film type situation. But I did watch Chucky growing up, and I see Chucky in your background.
Yeah.
Horror for me was like the Gremlins.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like softcore.
That's
soft, right? Yeah, and then Hellraiser.
Yes.
Now you're going hard.
Yes.
Yeah, like Hellraiser, I couldn't sleep for weeks. I really couldn't. I couldn't. Like I was so afraid, just afraid of the dark, thinking that the man with the spikes is gonna come through the dark and all that good stuff. So yeah, even though I don't like to watch it, I definitely ventured out into that space and wrote a horror film. So
that's all. Well, when your horror film is ready to be made, I'll definitely would love for you to come back and talk about it.
Absolutely, I would love to come back.
Oh yeah, and Nay, Sean, I saw you just joined. Are there any horror films that you love to watch? That's all right.
Sorry, I'm late, guys.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
What's good, man? Hey, Jess.
Hey, I was late too. My flight. I don't know what's going on with these airlines, but flights are just ridiculous nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what about? Are there any horror films you like watching?
Oh, I love horror films. I used to be scared when I was a kid. I used to be scared of The Exorcist and The Omen.
Oh my God! Omen, yes.
That little boy used to scare the hell out of me. I think I'm afraid of little scary white boys.
Hey, but that's true though. Listen. I believe in it. You grew up in a religious household. Like to this day, I will not really mess with The Exorcist. Like I don't like I'll do anything. Exorcist, I'm good.
I'll watch the new one, but I'm not watching.
That's fine.
I'm not watching the old one.
Yo, that
right.
The Exorcist was creepy as hell, especially when she goes down the steps backwards when she's running down the steps. I was like,
we didn't have that kind of technology back then. Like, so it was scary. It was like we never seen that before.
That's right.
And Nation, like, I was just asking them, like, do you have any scene from the film that you had the most fun filming?
Wow, I think we had fun in the fight scene, because before the fight scene it's this whole argument at the table, and then it escalates outside, and then with Alfred's character, Jess's character, we're outside and we're talking, and it's like mono against a mono type situation, and then he says something and it drives the character to, what would you say? And then they have this scuffle. So
yeah, I think it was like he said, "Oh, now you're worried about your wife," and something like that. And John just
right.
He said, "Go suck on your mom's titties." That's what he said. He said, "Don't you need to go suck on your mom's titties?" Yeah.
In real life, a man gonna be like, "What?" You can't say that and just walk away like you going home now.
Right, exactly.
About that whole thing, what's so cool about that was like, traditionally when you do things like that, there's like, even that small of a fight scene, there's a lot of prepping for it. But because of the trust of everybody in the film, we trusted everybody. Me and Nation was able to do it on the spot. So people will say, "Oh, it's not a big deal." It's a big deal. Because when you start moving, you could accidentally poke somebody. So you have to have so much trust in people to believe that we're going to do this little simple movements and not get hurt.
And Alfred came up with the choreography of it and how it worked.
And he trusted me, so I'm happy about that. He trusted me.
Right. So I think that was fun because it was physical and it was emotional, and it was like a lot of different emotions all at once happening. Yeah. And then you got to improv a little more at the end of it, because the fight gets broken up, and how people in the fight, you don't just walk away.
I know, exactly.
You gotta have your last say. You gotta say what you gotta say. So it was fun. I think we had a really I think a lot of the table scenes were fun too, because then it's the whole ensemble. So everybody's characters coming to life, and there's drama, there's comedy, there's all these different things. So those big scenes were always really good.
Okay. And was there any funny or cool stories for you from the set?
Say it again.
Was there any funny or cool stories from the set?
Yeah, I think there had to be a lot of them. I'm trying to remember now.
One of the fun stories, Nation, is when Nation and Cassie and John were in the car and they were getting ready to kiss, and Jay Justice had his daughter directing. And we started kissing, and she said action, and we were like, whoa, wait a minute.
I forgot about that.
So in the middle of the kiss, we were like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, she was a baby. That's right.
Right. And again, like I said earlier, you know, this was my first lead role. This was my first time actually being with a man on set and the movie, kissing and all that stuff like that. So Nation and Alfred, they were both gentle, very respectful actors, and they just they had me. They really helped me down, and so I'm just happy to have both of them on, you know, the opposite ends of me, you know, making sure that Cassie was was solid throughout the whole process.
I think we had fun in the basement scene when everybody's tied up.
We both said that, yeah.
I know. That's what they said. Yeah,
we were singing songs in between. So I think the basement scene, because it's really kind of comical. Everybody's tied up. I'm tied up. I really don't see anything between takes. But he don't. I hear everything, but we all singing. We dancing and we tied up, but we're just getting through the day. But we're having fun. So all the ensemble scenes were really, really fun to do.
Okay. And what did you like most about being in the film, filming everything, being part of the cast?
I think for me it was the cast. It was working with these talented individuals and feeding off of them and so to make this movie work. So it was the cast, it was the ensemble, it was Jess, it was the Alfred and Jessie scenes are amazingly funny and just watching their chemistry and how they work together was dope. It's still the Michael Jackson thing for me. You know what I'm saying? It's moments like that are not written but comes out when you're working with people and you get to have fun and you get to be creative.
Yeah, I think for me, what's so cool about that? I think we all created this synergy with each other because I think there's a part of professional etiquette that you have, but I think artists, right? It's like taking the basement and then taking the whole Michael Jackson thing. You can be amongst your peers and you be like, well, I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to look stupid. Or, you know what I mean? But when you with your people, we were free to try. We were try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were trying a lot of things and it was landing too. A lot of the stuff was just landing, especially when we left John, we dropped him back off at the hotel. The way that we just laid him there, it was hilarious. So yeah, we had a lot of fun moments.
Yeah.
Nice. And I asked them this, what is your go-to karaoke song if you were going to do it?
Oh, Jesus. It depends on the mood, I think, of the day. If I'm listening to hip hop all day, it might be I'm into the wordy songs because I think that's the challenge of it. It's a Biggie song is very wordy, or Eminem song is very wordy. I like songs like that. But then you got your R&B songs that you love. So I think it depends on the day, but I have a couple. I love music.
Okay. And lastly is where could fans follow you all and follow the movie at?
Yes.
Go first. Okay. You can follow me at Jessie Jalee. That's all of my that's my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. You can follow the movie at theinlawgang.com. We're actually we just left some theaters and we're going to another theater in Orlando, Florida on Friday, which is close to my hometown. So we're hoping
Okay.
to pack that out.
Nice.
Yeah. So we will be in those theaters, and then we will be on different streaming outlets in August, and then in November we should be moving on to Stars. So I'm very excited about that, and just I want to do round two.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Right. I'm at I am Nashawn Kears on Instagram and Nashawn Kears on Facebook. That's it for me.
My social media handles are across the board on all platforms is going to be Alfred ER16. That's pretty easy.
Okay. So did anyone join that like Threads craze yet?
What's that?
Oh,
It's that new app that came out, Threads.
Like kind of like Twitter, Threads.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, I'm like, when you log on, you will see something that says, "Do you want to join Threads?" And it shows you all these people who are joining. You'll see it. You probably didn't pay attention. You probably was just
but
like,
what do you do? But what do you do? What is it for?
It's like Instagram's version of Twitter. Like you tweet.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. You tweet on the app, like because a lot of people are like falling off of Twitter now. So now they make Threads to be like the new version of Twitter.
I'm not a tweeter. I see how that thing works and it comes back to you. I'm not a tweeter.
Oh yeah.
I know my mouth. I know I'm gonna regret it later. I'm not even gonna put myself in that position.
I know, right? Exactly.
I doubt I would be joining either. I just joined TikTok. You know, TikTok been around forever, and I just joined TikTok. You know, so I just have too many platforms. Yeah, it's too many platforms.
It's too much.
Yeah, I can't do all.
I
feel like it becomes addicting, and then I believe that it's not like I used. First of all, I got off of Facebook is okay. Then I was like, it's too negative over there. Then I got on Instagram, and then that was kind of cool because it was just basically showing pictures. And now Instagram is like it bombards you now too. So everything's just like so much stimulation. It's like
I know. Right. I don't have the attention span of that to do that too much. I'm not a scroller. I can't.
Yeah, I feel you.
I really I'm the worst on Instagram. I might put a picture up every 2 weeks or something like that. I don't. It's too much for me. But I gotta learn. We gotta adjust.
Yeah. It's definitely. I think it's definitely a tool for artists to like kind of promote themselves. Obviously, with the looming strike coming soon. Hopefully, it doesn't. But if it does come,
we on strike.
What the looming strike about?
We are striking. We're definitely striking.
Yeah. With the looming strike that's about to happen, we won't be able to like post things. But see, that's where I think not to get too political. That's where it comes. It's a little funny style because I feel like, and particularly for like Black artists, right? Like we work our asses off to like get to a certain space. And then the minute you get to a space, I have a movie in the theater. I have a movie that's on cable. And then there's like, no. And it's like the opportunities are already kind of like for us to struggle to even get to that space. You know what I mean? So you asked me to participate, which I'm going to support my union no matter what.
Well, yeah.
But I think there aren't like ramifications where those at the top need to say, you know what? These are artists who probably throwing their lives away, not making the money they should be making. Because our contemporaries who are like in the real world, they have like all these things going on where they go to their job and everything, and they're doing this kind of stuff. But for us, like we're like unemployed after we finish a job. We have to deal with that all the time. So I can show people what I've done.
Wow,
yeah.
Well, so again, and for SAG, I am with the union. Just prefacing, just letting you know how I feel as an artist. That I feel like we need to have a healthy way and don't stop the especially if I've done this before the strike.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't. I mean, I should be able to promote my
Yeah.
work. I'm not going to promote the show, but my work.
It's two sides to it, and I think it's important that we are, because of this AI thing. It's threatening the livelihood of everyone. They're trying to get you, the background actors. They can hire you for a movie, use you in the background, use your face, and for the rest of their life, you could be in a Tom Cruise movie, and they'll be like, "I saw you in a Tom Cruise movie," and you're in the background of Tom Cruise movie. You don't receive any more money. It's crazy.
It's criminal. That is nuts. It's criminal, and people should go to jail for that. It's criminal.
Oh my God.
They can use it for the rest of their life. So now they're saving money by not hiring background actors anymore. We have your faces, so we can put you in there. AI wise, we can put you in there, and we don't have to pay.
Oh my
God. My problem with that is, when do we stop being humans? What, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm team human, right?
Yeah, right. I'm team human too.
Yeah, you can be, and this is not to talk not bad about the producers or the studios, right? But when do you stop being human when you say, okay, I have a child who's going to go to school to be an engineer? What if I say there are no more engineers?
Right.
Exactly. AI does everything. Now you're like, oh, no, it shouldn't be that way. So when you stop being human.
But I think you take away the soul of performers. Like, even with music has soul. Mm-hmm. And you take away the soul of, I've heard these AI, it doesn't have any soul to it. It doesn't have any substance to it. So it takes away that. And it's going to be the same way in the arts and acting. It's going to be, there's no substance in it. There's nothing behind it.
That's a very good point.
The human aspect of it is where we connect to, because we're human.
That's right. That's a very good point. That it's soulless.
Yeah, soulless. Well, Will Smith did predict this in iRobot, but
sure, yes.
You know, one thing that SAG is allowing the independent producers, they are allowing us to continue to film and do stuff of that nature through the waiver process, because the fight is with the studios. It's really not with the independent producers.
That's right.
You know, because we're going to go by the SAG rates that they give us. That's one of the things that they're trying to increase too, the rates for the actors, so that they can get paid more, and the big studios, they just don't want to pay them more when they can afford to pay them more. So, on one hand, I agree with what SAG is doing. I support SAG. On the other hand, I think it should have been some type of fund in place for the struggling actors. So if we're going to go on a strike, then we need to be able to get them some type of unemployment fund that they can be able to pull from that while we're striking. So I think that, it should have been some type of synergy in that regard, just to make sure that the little guy doesn't lose.
And that's why I think you're right. And I think that's why I think this is so dangerous, because if you think about it from a strategic standpoint, at what point do people start running out of money, and then it becomes desperation, and then and it gets really ugly? It's funny now, right? Like, everyone's like, yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's scary.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It's very scary, because those who have money to sustain over time will sustain. They could be out of work for years, like a year or 2 years, and it's okay. But then you have those that they live from movie to movie.
Exactly. So what are they gonna do now?
Who work in a movie and they do extra work just to get their health insurance.
Get their health insurance. So, like, what?
Yeah, just to get your health insurance, to get good health insurance. A lot of them are not meeting those criteria.
Yeah. But you know what's cool about this? There is opportunity in chaos, and people like Mark Ruffalo, we have to applaud him.
I love him.
He's telling actors to jump in indies, and that's gonna be the revolution, right?
Oh yeah.
When people start saying, you know what, I like this script and I want to be in it. Mm-hmm. See, that's how we're gonna help this thing move along.
Yeah.
If we show them that we don't need them, we can still churn out some movies, because it's easier now than it's ever been.
Yep.
It's easier now to shoot your own shit and do your own thing and make it work and get it put out. So it's a problem that if we do it the right way, we can move the needle. And
we're gonna see who's really a part of the cause, because if because this is really the thing. The actors at the top, if they start saying, you know what, I'm jumping in indies, then we got a real issue. We have a real issue.
That's true.
Yeah. Hey, tell them come over this way. I'm an independent producer, so hey.
That's what I mean. Can you imagine?
Come this way.
As an independent producer,
this is my time
to sell your movie because you have an A-lister in your film, and they start doing that to different people. That would really shake up things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, thank you all so much for coming on, and I look forward to the horror film that Jessie's. You said you're coming out with. You're going to be making a horror films, and Alfred, you said you're going to be in a horror film as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing those. And thank you all for coming on and doing this and talking about the film. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys. Nice seeing
everybody.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Nice to see you as well. All right. Bye.